Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are you as excited as I am? I think you can tell by my tone. I am crazy excited as you just saw in the video if you took the time to watch it. But today marks the beginning of the best time of your life. I really feel like I can say that as we are preparing to embark on the 90 Days to Power Leadership Intensive, where you will be doing the planning, executing so that you truly can thrive. And who is this for? For you. You are indeed a leader that is ready to break through barriers, pursue your big goal, and thrive. I'm excited. And before we go any further, I just want to say congratulations. I am literally over here celebrating your decision. And I just want to set the stage to make sure that you are successful and that whatever reason that you began this journey, that we manifest all of your desires. Not just some of them. Let's go for the high road. We're going to celebrate it all, right? But it starts with a simple decision. And you made that. And for that, I say congratulations. So let's give you an overview of what today is going to be about. I want to formally welcome you. And then I want you to make sure that you have some insight into who's coaching you, who's on this journey with you, who's supporting you, and what should you expect. And this goes beyond what was in your welcome package to, again, I had to think about what did you need in order to make sure that you made it to the finish line. And what do you need to make that happen? And then, although it seems kind of crazy because I just talked about congratulations, there are some things that we need to breathe and celebrate at the same time. So, welcome. And I have to start out just when I talk about setting the stage for success. I think the thing, oftentimes I'm asked, what sets Be.Lead.Grow or Healthy Villages apart from other strategic firms and what consulting firms? And it's very simple. It's that what's there on that picture is very true. And when I say it, I mean it. All of you is welcome here. This is a space where you don't have to leave any of you at home. You get to bring mind, body, heart, soul, and not only do you get to bring it, but it's welcomed, it's adored, it's actually hoped for. So inside each of every activity that we do, there's gonna be some heart. There's gonna be some heart work. And we're gonna have to soul and we're gonna get down to the depth of who you are and what's within you. Because I don't do surface. I don't do surface things because those things are not sustainable. And we have fun. I don't believe in doing anything that's stale and anything that is not honoring your time because you're already busy. You already have a lot of things on your mind and your plate. So this is supposed to be the remedy. So the remedy may be hard at times. It may emotionally have you pull in certain ways, but it's also going to be something that is, you know, joyfully nourishing is what comes to mind. And then also, I have to say that it's a safe space. The reality is, when we say that you all are leaders, you all truly are leaders. And so you all hold various positions in whether it's government, you all own your own companies. So it's vital that you know that what says here stays here, right? So when you post something on in the Facebook group, the expectation is that nobody takes a screenshot and nobody, if we see you and we become friends on Facebook, as one of the members was having a conversation about that was one of the things that held her back. When I was very grateful she honored that, was that it's like, ooh, what if I become friends with these people and then they bring it up in the public space? We want to set the tone from the very beginning to say that's not who we are, right? And I always say a safe space remains a safe space when we make it so. So as long as you're doing the work to keep this as a safe space, it'll be a safe space, and we all contribute to that. And that is done by making sure that we hold high confidentiality. I'm a social worker, and I'll talk about who I am on the next slide. But confidentiality is so important and so vital to me. So again, please note that all of you is welcome here. This is a space where you don't have to leave, your troubles at the door. No, I say bring it all. You can bring all your suitcases, your luggage, everything. Just bring it all in, and we'll find some room for it so that we can support you through your journey. And so, who is this woman that's coaching you? And I go by Dr. AMS, but my name is, of course, as you all know, Angela M. Shuttlesworth. And what's most that I thought about, who are you? And I realized more and more day by day, I call myself a certified leaper. and a believer. And when I say a certified leaper, I mean tried and true. I do what's necessary to do the unthinkable. And it's all rooted in my desire and belief that, you only get one life. And, depending on what you believe in. But for me, I am going to create my heaven on earth. And with that, I'm going to take risks that just sometimes just don't make sense. And you've probably seen pictures of me where there's this thought of, I've taken leaps from trees, so surely I can do this small thing, right? So when you've done things that are crazy adventurous, you're willing to, move to another state without a plan or without housing secured or moving to a country without housing secured. Yes, I've done that. So I've taken these crazy radical leaps, but it has also brought me crazy rewards. And a lot of things just happen because I choose to believe. It's really just that simple. At the end of the day, it may get hard, it may be tough, but I believe. I believe in the beauty of mankind in that people will show up for me. Not only will they show up, they'll love me, they'll adore me, they'll be worthy of my trust. And I may question it at times, I may doubt it at times, but I have to get back to my core of what I believe. And I believe in you. I believe that ultimately we all contribute to the well-being of our society as a whole. And it sounds crazy, but I believe in magic. And the magic happens when we show up and when we create miraculous things. That's when the magic happens. So, with that said, I'm a believer. And I'll tell you this now, you're going to know way too much about me throughout this process because, as you all know, I believe in leading with vulnerability and joy. And I'm quite okay with using myself as we talk, discuss examples and different things like that. And of course, I'll have some fictitious examples as we go along. But I want to make sure that you get an example of what it's like to say, oh my goodness, she's really telling you that? Yeah, because I believe in the process. So, some things that you probably really want to know about me. I, consider myself a professional mutt. And I thought about that today where I was like, how do you describe all of the things that you've done? There's no other word I could think of but me being a professional mutt, meaning that I am a social worker at my core. So, through and through, all my degrees, BSW, NSW, PhD, are all social work. My PhD is a focus on policy planning and administration. And once I got my PhD, I have worked in clinical settings from inpatient sites to outpatient. I've been a trainer auditor. I've also conducted research studies. I've managed a research team. I've been an administrator as a director of organizational development. I've also been an adjunct professor in Georgia, in DC, and then became a tenure track professor at Norfolk State University. And in my belief, going back to what I believe, that my genius would always make room for me, I got to a space of realizing that I don't have to compromise. And if I'm in a space that is not in alignment with who I am and it's not allowing me to shift and to change the environment, then it's time for me to go. So I packed my stuff up without a plan and turned in my letter of resignation and I embarked on this new journey. And I am a lifelong curious student, always willing to learn. And now I am able and willing to do that. And I'm doing that by accomplishing my big goal. As you all know, the big goal that I help leaders to accomplish is that bridge to their irrefutable greatness. So with you, that one thing that you need to accomplish that's going to propel you to where you desire and deserve to be. For me, it was becoming a global citizen. I'll talk about this further as we go into part two of module one. But when I met a gentleman by the name of Dusko Popovich in my first grade class, and he told me that he was from Yugoslavia. Where the world is Yugoslavia? I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't know nothing about no Yugoslavia. But I knew that there was this place out there in the world that I didn't know about. And because I wanted to know everything, I felt like I needed to know more about the world. And so I always called myself a global citizen, even though I had only gone as far as the Caribbean. It is like, honey child, there is a whole world that's out there. So I have embarked on this journey that I started with a group of people and now I'm rolling solo and started living in Prague, Czech Republic. I have lived in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and at the time of this taping, I am currently living in Bangkok and loving every bit of it. Again, there's moments of the ups and downs, of course. However, I am grateful that I chose to show up for myself because when that happened, I was able to finally publish and do my first writing in an international magazine. I'm able to present at a women's leadership empowerment conference, and I'm willing to put my voice where I'm not just, demonstrating mastery. Clearly, I know what I'm talking about. I've studied. It's tried and true. You don't just get a PhD just by saying I'm great. But to master my own voice and to cultivate what that looks like, to be willing to show up in a new way, takes effort. And to do it on an international scale, I must say I'm proud of myself. And it wouldn't have happened had I not changed my environment. And we'll talk about that again as we talk about honoring our journey. So I am a village baby turned village lady. And I am so supported beyond measure that I don't think most people can even conceptualize how I'm the person who can say I'm in need, and I sometimes won't verbalize it even though I know I have the support there, but spiritually I'm connected to so many people who know to show up for me. And sometimes people ask questions like, well, when are you going to stop relying on other people? And my answer is never. Whether it's a resource, whether it's a referral, I just truly believe that we are a village. And hence the name of my company is Healthy Villages, where, I was always surrounded by community and by family. And that village mentality just carried over into adulthood. And so now I am quite aware that I am a village lady. And so for me, love is a verb. So I not only show up for others, but I'm grateful that others choose to show up for me. So who am I? I am a leadership and engagement strategist, meaning that I help you to find what your voice of we do various different strategic strategies that look at how you may be viewing leadership in a way that is hindering your growth and or how you may have a miscombobulated or misconstructed view on what leadership is or should be. And we find ways for you to truly engage. And I consider myself to be and I am, a macro level healer. And oftentimes we are operating in spaces of just being robots and not really fully able to show up and show out in every area of our lives. We're so often taught to leave aspects of who we are at the door. That's unacceptable to me. So because of that, I have taken on the charge of really saying how do we connect holistically, not only with others, but first of all and foremost with ourselves, which is what this journey is about. And I take very much pride in, and this is an example of that, of saying I am Baby Love's mama. And although Baby Love did not take her own, in my mind, she was a girl, her own breath, I unfortunately had a miscarriage. But when that moment happened, I take so much pride in the fact that from the second I found out that I was pregnant to the time that unfortunately I found out I miscarried, I loved and adored and still continue to love Baby Love. And it really shaped and molded who I am and the way that I show up. And it gave me the essence of love and an experience of that love in a way that I didn't know. And at the same token, I am Douglas Robinson's friend. And Doug was a dear friend of mine for many years. And unfortunately, he passed away to pancreatic cancer. And he's one of the most beautiful spirits, social justice advocates, very aware of the community, very aware of connections. I learned so much from him. And so I took it upon myself to say that for those two, and there's another two that I'll speak on again later on, Sandra Bland being one of them, and Troy Davis, but I live for them. I now choose to live in a way that I never thought possible. I always took leaps now. Let's be clear, since childhood. There's many stories of that. But I now take every single breath. It has new meaning. I'm grateful because two of the people that I love the most in life don't get that opportunity to breathe in and breathe out. So that's why it's the way that I start every strategy call. It's the way that I start coaching calls. And it's just for us to be present in this moment. So with that said, I am not only equipped, I am not only prepared, I am ready, willing, and able to take you on this journey. So I hope that you are ready to go on this journey with me. Expectations. And I just love this hat. And it is, the brother is not only sharp, but it's just that reality that I am aware that each of you have many, many hats that you're wearing. And I do not take that lightly. I know that for many of you, your mothers, your wives, your students, you are husbands, your community leaders, you are PTA directors, you hold so many things. You're the family person, you're the friend, you're the auntie, you're the uncle, you're everything for everybody. And so I want to be clear that we are going to do things that work. So this is why I wanted to embark on the first part of us having this conversation. I know we had our celebration call, but I wanted to make sure that we set this tone to make sure that you were successful. So I want you to really trust that each of the trainings and the strategies are things that you can believe in because they work. They're evidence based. They're things that have been proven. And I want you to know that I am considering all of those hats that you wear. And again, you can bring all of those hats with you. But then I'm also going to be conscientious of your time. So I'm going to make sure that intentionally there is an effort made to make sure that it's not overwhelming and that it gives you what you need in the most efficient time and manner. Now, today I'm taking my time because I want to make sure that you get the nuts and bolts. And I'll do that, of course, throughout these 90 days. However, I just want to let you know that we're not going to be having every call 90 something minutes. And the way that I structured this course is you'll have video snippets and it's set up intentionally so that you are able to go and come back as you need to. Because I know that those hats may call for you to have to stop in the middle of something. Although, of course, I would prefer that you have dedicated time. The reality is life is still happening, and we'll talk about that in a second. But expectations is that not only are you consistent, but that I'm consistent and that we're patient with each other, right? But at the same time of being patient, there's a friendly push to make sure that you are able to show up for this process. And you signed up, you accepted the charge, you paid your money, and and I've seen people literally spend thousands and thousands of dollars and not show up. I just don't understand that because I just money just means more to me than that. I'm just not gonna waste my time. And so for that, because you spend time working to make that money, and or even if it was blessed for it to you, I just don't do things like that. But for whatever reason, I'll give you a friendly push. You may get an email, you may get a phone call, but I want to make sure that you are being consistent. And although I want you to be patient with yourself on the journey, we have to move forward, right? And this is a no judgment zone. So the only way that we can support you, and I say we because it's not just me that's here, you're part of a village. And this is a new level of a village. You may have worked with me in other capacities, but this is a new group, it's a new opportunity. And so I want you to embrace that newness, which we'll talk about in a second as well. And excellence is a requirement and a norm here. Mediocrity stays out. And when we talk about excellence in this regard, excellence doesn't mean perfection. It means that you're getting your best. But whatever your best is in that moment is not only appreciated, it's expected. So if I expect that that's your best, then I'm not going to judge you. And I'm not going to second guess it like, now, I may push you, which is very different than knowing that if you ask a question, it's because you really don't know. I'm not going to be like, how you don't know that? That's just not fair. We have to think about that. And then, to show up and show out is encouraged. This is not the place to play small. If you have an idea, if you want to do a video in a group, if you want us to support you in new ways, do it. This is your space. And I want to say that fear, discomfort, and joy are equally welcome. So feel the fear and do it anyway. Excuse me. Move through the discomfort, like allow yourself to be uncomfortable, and then have fun and be joyous. I want to hear some laughter. I may see some tears. That I always say I want to laugh to the point where I feel like I'm about to pee on myself. That's the kind of joy I'm talking about. So all of those things are welcomed in this space. Why? Because we're looking for transformation. We want change. We're not here just to, be cute and or to say we've gone through a process. We want to come out on the other side with things being different. So modules, lessons, and activities. Oh my! So what you can also expect is that you will have various modules and lessons and activities that get you to the point that honors one, the schedule that you already received, and that is strategy based, as you know already. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but just to reiterate, we have a 2 week rotation of power. So this week you are going to receive two separate emails with videos and with activities for you to do. And it's kind of self-study-ish, so you can go at your own pace. However, there's an expectation that by next week, Thursday, that you'll be ready for the live Q&A call if you're doing this with a live group. If not, you are doing this actually on your own as a self-study. But you still have access to the group and are able to be supported in our high power leaders group. So don't fret. If you're doing this on your own and not live, you still have support that's here. And the reason I changed it from a mastermind to a leadership intensive is there's a difference. Generally, when you're in a mastermind, there's such a heavy reliance on the other people that are there and what they contribute. And I wanted this to be really about you. I wanted you to have a safe space for you to realize that this is an intensified in the essence of intentional effort to discuss your leadership, but to discuss how you lead in your life, leadership, and legacy. So there's this concept that you will receive what you give, and so you get from it what you put into it is what you'll get from it. In the same token, you will receive what you give. So if you give this your time and your energy and your heart, trust the process will show up for you. And one of the things that I am going to do as you receive certain things, you'll get a very short video that talks about matters of the heart and mind. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things that set this consulting firm apart is that you can bring all of you here. And with that in mind, I want to set you up for success. So what are the things that you want to be cautious of and ready and prepared for as it relates to the mindset that you may need to have as you approach a particular lesson, as well as what you may need to be aware of as it relates to your emotional well-being. Because again, I want you to be supported. I want you to know that it's a process, but you don't have to do it by yourself. And again, easy to use processes. I have intentionally made sure that things are broken down in bite-sized bits so that you can digest them and can incorporate them and you can see the progress as we're going. And as I mentioned, I want you to know that I am considerate of your needs. I know that you are a leader that has already been overwhelmed, that has possibly been in situations where you have not been given the opportunity or the privilege to shine, and or it's been exceptionally limiting, and you want to take it to the next level. You know that there's so much more inside of you that you have to give, and you just really want to know what it is that you need to let go of. So I want you, every time you approach your laptop or your desktop, to just come eager and ready to know that whatever is here, it is something that you can accomplish. I start almost all of my webinars, trainings, all with the same thought, because I have to have sprinkled in some wisdom. And that is, I want you to come with the mindset that nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. So thank you, Ivy Hepburn, for that quote. So when things get hard and are challenging and or time gets on the other side, I want you to come and say, you know what, I'm possible. I will find a way to figure it out. And it's also possible for me to honor this moment in this situation. So the reality is that we have three major paths and we're on a beautiful journey and it's worth it. So we are here to identify and remove barriers. And in order for us to do that, you have to have the willingness to do the heavy lifting and to be willing to do what it takes to use muscles that you possibly have never used before. And then we're here to identify and pursue your big goal. And I love this image because it lets you know that you're not alone. So not only the sunshine, but your journey is being supported. There are people here to support you in this group. But then also you're going to get to see your life and your support system in your work environment and other systems and in environments that you're a part of in a new way. And so the way that we want you to do that is not just from who you are today. But once you get to the goal setting part, oh, baby, you're going to be a different person. So you're going to be setting this goal from a space of being your highest self. So, you know, when you got your chest out a little bit more and your head up a little higher, you tend to expect quality things, right? So in the same way, you're going to approach your goal the same way. And I cannot wait to see what happens. And lastly, we want to create a foundation for us to thrive. And there's a concept of continuous quality improvement, meaning that we are not only learning strategies, but we're testing them as we go along. So when you see something, it may not be the first time or the only time that you'll see it, but it's something that I want you to use for a lifetime. This is not, again, just something that makes you feel good because you went through a process. This is here to change your life. And the strategies are so simplistic, yet easy to use, yet powerful that you're going to want to do over and over again. So this isn't a one-time thing because as you go to the new level, there's new opportunities for you to continue to grow and to be supported in new ways. So before we get too far into the next section, I wanted you to just really pause and consider why did you sign up for this 90 Days to Power Leadership Intensive? And before you do that, I have one more quote for you. And I want you to think about Mama Audre Lorde. And I love this quote. She says, caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. So in that statement, I'm always thinking of my well-being, my greatness is worth me fighting for. Caring for myself is making sure that I have what I need, I have what I desire, I have what I deserve. And all of those things are a part of my self-care. So whether it's time, whether it is greatness, each of those are a part of your self-care. So having said that, I want you to pause this video and really just write down what is it that brought you to this situation, whether you came through saw an ad on Facebook, whether a friend told you to join, whether you had a strategic call with me and you thought it was something in that conversation and or one of my team members that resonated with you. What was it that stood out to you that lets you know that this is what you wanted? And be honest, this is your space. Remember, nobody else is going to see this but you. This is yours. So I want you to pause this video, give yourself some time, take a couple of deep breaths, get present in the moment, and then answer that question. And we'll be ready for you on the next slide. All righty. So next we're going to talk about and close out with tips for your success. And it starts with you acknowledging the uniqueness of this experience. And although you are a genius, you are smart, you are all of that in the bag of chips, as we used to say. But I want you to just give yourself to permission to not be that in this space. So you aren't an expert in this space. And guess what? That is okay. You get to not know. And oftentimes you're the person who has to figure it out. But I just want you to know that in this space, that's not who you get to be. Be happy about that. Because there were so many times the pressure is always on us to have to know and to have figured it out. So be grateful that you don't have to do that in this space. And it's unique. It's something that you haven't done before. So it's an online program that you may have gone to school many, many moons ago, or you may be in school right now. And I just wanted to remind you that this is not a traditional class. I am not a traditional teacher. So this is going to be like, what the world? What did she just say? Okay, I like that. And I want you to embrace that joy and the new level that's going to come because I know it's coming and I cannot wait until those moments happen. You may have had it already, but as it's happening, I'm going to say that because I've already had some. I want you to also ask for what you need. This is a safe space for you to say, you know what, I need a accountability partner to really push me. I need for somebody to give me a strategy of how to dedicate the time because it's not working and I'm feeling like I'm not being able to be the parent or the spouse that I need to be, or I'm, this particular strategy was a little bit too much for me, so I had to, walk away from it for a minute. But I need somebody to, come and help me to get back to it. But we can only do for you what you allow for us to do for you, right? I want you to ask for what you need, whether it is with someone that is in this particular program and or the support that you need that are outside of it. So if you know, hey, I need to possibly hire a babysitter to handle the children, and or I need to, pull back a little bit. If you're the president and or the CEO, you may go and let them know for the next 90 days, I will need for you to take over the meetings on every other Thursday. So it not only allows for you to get what you need and to be on the calls live, but it also gives other people the opportunity to step up, right? And get to fill in the gap and to see themselves in a new way. So there's benefits to that. And I also want to reiterate that it's not just what you want, what you need, but also this is a space for you to get what you want. And that's the cherry on the top. And so whether it is something that you think that is like, hey, I think they're going to think I'm crazy, that's even more reason for you to do it. And then with that said, I want you to acknowledge your sacrifice. You are not this beautiful, smiley faced little schnuckle that is just running free and wild with no care in the world. I know that you have responsibility. And so we're considerate of that. Don't disengage with the reality of what's happening in your life. You are giving up time, you've given up money, you've dedicated energy. But most of all, you know what you really are sacrificing in a beautiful way? Is hope. You've come to this table desiring something different. And even if you've done coaching programs before, you've given yourself permission to believe again. And that's a beautiful thing. So acknowledge what it is that you have sacrificed. And acknowledge that life is happening in every little step you take, whether that's with someone or on this journey in your own way. The reality that is that life doesn't stop just for you to do this process. So you still may have other things that are going to happen, but I want you to be gentle with yourself as life continues to go on. And the reality is that some of life may go on without you. And guess what? That's okay too. And lastly, in this particular section, I want you to acknowledge that this is a process. This is not an easy fix. It's something that, look at, I love this image where they're working together. There's different sizes of the systems and there's different things. Like some things are going to be easy. Like, oh, that's all I have to do? Like for now, for part one of module one, you're just listening to this side. You're answering some questions and you're considering some things in your heart and mind. But there's not really a strong activity like, that you have to fill out any paperwork or anything like that. But it's a process, and you're going to be building, again, muscles that you haven't used before. So consider, when you've gone back to working out in the gym after having gone for like a year, think of how that felt, right? So imagine that same type of energy, but it's worth it. You need to lose that weight, or you need to get your heart rate up because we want to live, and we want to live thriving lives. I'll see you. And lastly, in this particular slide, is for you to acknowledge and connect with your why. There's, again, as we said, a reason why you're here, and you just wrote about it. I don't want that to be the first and only time that you look at why you're here. Possibly you may want to go back and add to it as, you get more clarity over time. But I want you to identify it, to connect to it. Like, it could mean for you if you're a ritual, like I love rituals. But even if it's you reading that statement before you get on each call and or taking a screenshot of it and making it on your phone, whatever those things are, I want you to connect to it and own it. Like, this is why in this moment in time that I am here. And trust me, it will add to your level of success. And we're not done yet. I want you to ask for grace from others. As we said, life is going to continue to happen. And the reality is that you need something different. So this is the first time when you're going to get to use your voice in a new way. And so I love this saying, grace carried me here, and by grace, I will carry on. People are going to be all right. You may not be able to show up in the same manner because it may be a day where I send a message to y'all and say, hey, when's the last time you took a mental health day? Have you thought about that? Is that something you consider? Because we always think about taking our health days and sick leave solely for days where we have gotten to the point where there is illness present, but we don't think about prevention. So you want to think about that. So you want to ask in advance, hey, life is about to change. As the state your name as you know it is no longer here. Like, you're going to be a new level of your vibrant self. Not saying that, hey, I'm dead to the world. That's not what we're saying. But it's giving them kind of a warning that you're shifting. And then I want you to give grace to yourself and literally ask yourself, like, hey, Angela, I know that this is new. I know we're hopeful and all that stuff sounds good, but there's some times where I may let you down, and I just really need for you to just trust me and to know that I'm doing my best. And this is one of those crazy moments where, yeah, you're talking to yourself. But you get my drift. Ask for grace for yourself. And that's really giving yourself permission to be present in the process. And I want you to acknowledge the need for consistent action. And I love this picture. Because I'm not asking you to be some action figure or some superhero. But to a certain degree, you do have to have some good kicks, right, to break down these walls. So I want us to be in consistent action. So the way you show up today, eager and ready, I want you to be that way at week 5. I want you to be that way at week 15. Because this is not a sprint. It is a marathon. But when you finish, the bragging rights that you will have are amazing. And I want you to ask for permission to enjoy the journey. It's going to be beautiful. I am so excited. And I want you to have a good time and to not just feel like it has to be something that's always heavy. Have fun. Enjoy it. And I love this image where the brother's walking down the street. I got his, jacket over his shoulder, like, yeah, I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. And I'm doing something new. I got my shoulders back. Got my chest up. And I'm wearing my bold red tie. So, do you feel like that when you go into the workplace? You may want to do that tomorrow. If it is a work day for you, I want you to consider doing that. What is the thing that makes you feel good from the inside out? That's what we want you to be doing along the process. And lastly, you may have seen it. It was at the bottom of every single slide. I want you to remember that every aspect of your being is worthy of your attention. Every aspect. And that goes into you realizing that you are a multidimensional being who is worthy of praise, attention, nurturing, and love. So I close out with our number one strategy, which is going to be your module that you will receive in a couple of days. And that is for you to honor your journey. And the way that we do that is to release what was, accept what is, and create what will be. And I love this image because it is literally, in my mind, endowing you. As I told you, I live in Thailand at this moment. And the way that we, Sawadee Ka, and the way that there is a, putting of the hands and a welcoming and an embracing of that moment, I want you to honor yourself in that way and honor this journey, honor the life that you've lived, and honor even the ugliness of it. We're gonna do some strategic things to find out, what was the lesson, how do we learn the lesson, and move on beyond the lesson, right? And move into the power seat of leading our life, right? And the way I always uh, describe power is the way that you use your voice and every single choice you make. That, therefore, is your power. And so, as we strengthen that muscle in your throat, and you may be able to sing a new tune, I want you to make some very strategic, heartfelt, mindful decisions and choices, starting with honoring your journey and beginning this journey knowing that you will make it to the end. And with that said, I want to talk to you. So let's chat. And as a reminder, your Facebook group is your safe space. It is yours. So I want you to use it. So I will be there. Your teammates will be there, as I call them your power partners. And we will begin this journey. And I look forward again to just really just making it cross that finish line with you. And we're going to actually have many finish lines that we'll be crossing. And actually, guess what? Tonight is the first one. So you have finished part 1 of module 1 in this lesson, which is how do you ensure your success as we talk about honoring your journey. And it starts with adopting these tips and making sure that you're coming with the right mindset to know that it is possible. So I look forward to talking to you over in the Facebook group and or through email, whichever you are comfortable with. And I again just thank you for this opportunity to serve you. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye bye for now. Peace and love.